Hello and welcome to Rockstar UK.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
In this episode, we're going to get back onto the turbo Ruckus build. I've done a lot of work on it recently, just trying to progress it, but I didn't want to bore you or bog you down with all the necessary little bits of fabrication and stuff like that, because you don't really want to see me cutting metal and stuff. Well, you might want to, but I cut all that lot out because it was a bit of a tedious and a long process of getting everything to match up the way that I wanted it and the way that it sort of works. So let's head over to the bike and I'll show you all the bits that we've done so far. So as you can see, the bike has come a long way since you guys last saw it. We got all the wiring and everything done within the battery bay. That is super tidy, super slick now. So obviously we're using the RockShox handlebars. I've just put this temporary switch on. It's a little bit bigger because I thought there was a fault with the other switch, but it turns out it's something to do with the LED sort of system on it. And anyway, the indicators are working now. It just takes a bit of time for them to sort of power up. Adding levers. Obviously tried to tidy up this as much as possible and route it in there. The headlights are all on. They're all working. They are super bright, and then we've got the carbon fibre fuel tank and the CNC machined side steps. They took a little bit of fettling because they're not supposed to sort of be used together. They're a little bit tight, but I managed to get it in. Also, where I'm using an injection tank, on the top here there's a bit of interference, so I had to sort of bash it in a little bit and dress it in to get this to fit nicely. Same with down the bottom down here, it's already got a little bit of a step, so what I did is I basically fettled it with a bit more of a step so that it cleared all the pump and all the sort of tube in there. This isn't finished by any means. I'm still doing some plumbing and testing and tuning and stuff. So right, let me just grab my knee because I'm an old boy now. So we got the seat frame on. I'm gonna cut this back probably in line with this and keep that coming down, but make it sort of line in to match this. But we've got the seat on just for testing wise. So this has all been put on compared to when you last saw it. So there's the turbo actuator, which is routed into the charge side of it. Carburetor, which is a 28mm. Obviously there's your choke. We got a Rad Filter, which is very similar to sort of the what do you call them, the RDR filters and stuff like that. Now I hand fabricated this, so this is a tubing. I bought my flanges from the rock shop, and then I had this one cut. Also I've got one for the back of the turbo coming. Well, I've got the flange, I'm just having it cut and a bit welded on, so ready for the exhaust pipe that will finish that section off. I made, so I don't know if you can see very well, but in here there's another flange, that one with a little bit of tube which then mates to that. In here I had this little T-piece fabricated for a dump valve. Now I'm just playing around with the routing of the wiring and the vacuum ports at the moment, trying to get enough suction on the dump valve for it to let off and let the pressure out. If it doesn't work, all we've got to do is literally replace that with a straight bit of tube, or we can completely make the silicone tube up again. So coming around to this side, it's a little bit kinked at the moment because I'm still playing around with it. That's the vacuum port, which has got blanked off at the moment. That's going to be for the boost gauge. I had to make that flange that sits down in there with a bit of straight cut tube. And as it comes along, we've got the dump valve itself, and then you see how the pipes are a little bit kinked at the moment. It does run, but they're a bit kinked at the moment, so I'm not 100% happy with the way in which it's sort of seating, but I just wanted to sort of get it running and see. You see how it's got a nasty sort of kink here. So little things like that we've got to sort out. But the bike is together. It does run. It is producing boost because I can see all the pipes expanding with the airflow, and you can actually hear it when you go down the road. You hear the sort of like turbo whistling as such. Now, with regards to the oil, which a lot of people are asking me questions, I'm basically using an oil cooler fitting in the bottom. So we've got a banjo which comes up here and routes along here into a clear bit of pipe, so I can check the oil flow, so I can make sure that there's enough coming through the bottom of the turbo. But this one is I've put a T-piece on it so I can actually check the oil pressure should I need to. But basically that follows up around the back of here, follows up and then into the top using an AM fitting onto a banjo fitting. Now this is a bit long at the moment, but actually having it this long, I'm not getting any kinks or anything in the wires, or should I say cable, and it's actually got a nice steady flow. Also when I put the exhaust on it, it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, it's running alright at the moment. So obviously, like I say, we're still doing testing. This is the vacuum takeoff, which is going at the moment into this T-piece to the dump valve, but it also goes down to the fuel pump. So there's, as you guys know, on the back of the carburetor there's always going to be some sort of vacuum. So anyway, don't know if that works. I haven't tried it yet, so we're going to give that a run. Also, I've done some work on, I want to fit something slightly different, so I've got a different rear light which I've made a little bracket for. You can see that little L-shaped bracket, but I do want to lift it up a little bit because there's like a pinky gap up there. But light does look pretty good if I switch it on. Light's pretty cool. Got a nice look to it, and even when I pull the brake, it's pretty cool. I'm quite chuffed with that. It's a nice look to it, a bit different compared to like the R6 lights. We've got push button start here, turn that off, push button start there. So yeah, bike's coming together. I have got up here, this is the exhaust tip. I'll show you that. Excuse me 1 second. Go top of the packaging. So I've got this, I know it says this Akrapovic GP on it, but it's not, as we know. It's just a stainless tube really. It's got a DB silencer in it, but we'll probably take that out. So just to give you an idea of what I'm planning, is that'll basically sit there like that, go into the wheel. I think that looks pretty sick, pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know it's a short little video, but I try to keep you guys updated. Yeah, I guess you guys want to see it running, so let's get it running for you. Right, so there we have it, bike's running. It's still got some tuning and stuff to do, but as you can see, throttle response is pretty good. She does have a little bit of trouble starting at the moment. I think that's due to the length of pipe in which it's got to basically push that mixtured air through and into the head. But once it's running, it's great. So anyway, next episode, I guess we'll just continue fettling with the system. We'll also see how much boost is producing, and we'll start into the sort of like the tuning phase of it, get a wideband on it, see what sort of air fuel mixtures we're getting, especially towards the top end when you're obviously producing more boost. We want to see if the fuel mixture is correct. If it doesn't work, we'll just go like for the EFI system or something like that, which might make it that little bit sort of easier to tune, but also ensure that you've got the right AFRs along the line. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all of those good things, and I'll see you guys in the next video.